Now we are broadcasting. We have 4 attendees. Hello guys, welcome. We are waiting 1 minute. We have another guest speaker that is having trouble to join. We should start in 1 minute. Hello everyone. Antonio, welcome. So it's 10 a.m. sharply. We are going to start our webinar. So guys, first of all, I'd like to welcome all of you here and thank you a lot for your time. This is very important for us and we are grateful that you all could join and listen to what we have to share with you today. As we were mentioning here before, the weather is really nice here in Brazil. There's no clouds on the sky, really blue sky, also in London, which is amazing, isn't it, Ed? So I hope everyone is having a great day and I hope everyone enjoys the content we have to share today. So here today we have Rodrigo, we have Gustavo, Ed, we have Antonio and myself, Rayan Godol from Pulpo. I will ask everyone to give a brief introduction of themselves. And then we'll go through the subjects that we have prepared. So the dynamics of this webinar today will basically be Antonio and I will throw some questions for these experts in retail and technology, and we will listen to what they have to say about what is going on the retail right now because of COVID. What are the transformations that are happening and which of these transformations will last after COVID? And let's hear what they have to say. So we have some questions. We will throw these questions and direct the questions to them, let them speak, and then at the end we will have some questions and answers where all the attendees will have the opportunity to make questions and make some interaction with the guest speakers. So I would like to start with Gustavo. Gustavo, can you give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Yeah, sure. Good morning, everyone. I'm originally a tech guy, engineer that used to work with technology for different segments. In the last three, 4 years, we have been investing in some retail companies, always trying to link technology and retail. So nowadays I'm board member of a couple of companies, ERP for retail, company that do bar automation for bars and coffee chain. So that's my background. We have been trying to lead this digital transformation in the companies we bought in. Yeah. I'm mute.
Right.
You are on mute.
Thank you, Gustavo. Yeah, I was muted. So Gustavo has a lot of experience in the retail, as he has mentioned. One of the companies he sits as a board member is Varejo Online. Varejo Online, in literal translation to English, means retail online. And so they have a lot of experience with the retail lists here in Brazil. So now, Ed, can you give us a brief introduction of yourself, please?
Absolutely. Great to be with you today. My name's Ed Heaney. I'm the Strategic Development Director at PSI, or Posterscope International, and we are the largest investors of location media globally, as well as being one of the largest investors of airport media around the world. What we do is we help brands understand how different diverse audiences all around the world navigate between countries and within their own country, and how best to engage with them through location media. So we specialize in understanding data, technology, and also helping in optimizing creative messaging across out of home.
Okay, thanks a lot. So basically, you guys work in the core business of you is in the travel and in the out of home media, right?
That's right. Yeah, a
And
substantial amount of our business is focused around travel retail and understanding how someone will get from point A to point B and how best to engage with them through media.
Okay, thanks, Ed. Rodrigo, would you like to give us some introduction of yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. Great to be here. Morning for people that are seeing from Brazil. My name is Rodrigo. I'm 26 years old. I'm the head of innovation and technology from advertising agency Paim Comunicação. And I don't know, we work with a lot of retail partners and also retail tech guys and also retail. We have a lot of retail clients as like Heaney Group from Brazil. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for the invitation.
Hi, Rodrigo. That was too humble. Rodrigo is one of the youngest guys that I know that it's full of experience and knowledge in retail and technology. It's just amazing how this guy is putting all together in the advertising and marketing segment here in Brazil. It's just incredible what they are doing. Now, last but not least, we have Antonio, one of the guys that I know that has a very, very positive mind. It's really nice to have you here, Antonio.
Thank you. Yeah, for me, I mean, I'm a retail expert, which now, of course, is not retail anymore. It's an omni-channel expert. So I've been working since 20, 30, 40 years, maybe let's not go back for the biggest retail brands worldwide, from luxury to media. Now, as an omni-channel expert, I sit on the board of different brands, one of them being Closet London, and also as a board advisor of Pulpo AR, to make sure that exactly the technology help and empowers the brands to be not only and anymore a retail, but an omni-channel experience for the consumer.
Okay, Antonio, thanks a lot. So Antonio, together with me, will help to moderate the questions and interact with the guest speakers. So this webinar now is sharply 10:07. The expectation is that we have the webinar until 11 a.m. We will start now throwing the questions. And the first question I would like to throw, and I will direct this one to Gustavo first, and then we will talk to the others, is what is the impact of COVID for the retail industry in your region or your sector?
So we have been discussing this as well yesterday a little bit, but I would like to separate in different segments and different regions. I would say that south of Brazil, people are struggling, but they are keep their business running. Yeah. So in general, retail is not totally closed or locked down. But when you look into the bar sector, for example, it's totally closed all over the country. There is no perspective of enhance or change the situation. Same thing for coffee. Yeah, most of coffee stores. So this segment is gonna suffer. It's gonna be harder to them to recover. Yeah, even though the lockdown eases a little bit. Yeah.
So basically, like we were saying yesterday, you are in the bar segment, and we were discussing that different from other retailists where they can deliver their products and sell through the e-commerce and deliver at consumers' home. For the bar segment, this is quite different because usually what people are looking for when they go to the bar is to the experience itself. It's not only about the products that it's sold in the bar, right? But it's the experience of having the people around and the music and all these kind of things. And delivering this kind of service and experience, it's almost impossible today, right? So because of that, the bars and this kind of retail, they are completely shut down. And I mean, most of them are having zero revenue right now, right?
Well,
Yeah, the bar itself, it's closed. We have a special segment of the craft beers where people keep consuming the craft beer, but they find easily a different channel. So iFood or any app that delivers food can deliver craft beer. So the main thing of the bar, that's 10 different types of craft beer is on an app now, and the bar itself, it's closed. So it's tough time for the industry. I think it's going to change a bit, but the idea is to survive until the new normal. Yeah.
Gustavo,
Right.
is in Brazil, sorry to interrupt you, in Brazil, what's been happening? Because what we saw in the UK, as Ryan said rightly, the experience is missing. So the people that cannot go and enjoy with their friends, right? But actually, you know, all the app service for delivery, they I think 6 times, the revenue increased 6 times, because what's happening, the bars, the coffee shops, the restaurant, that they kept the kitchen and the back end opened, actually they have found this self to deliver quite a lot of goods. And actually they're flourishing. Why? Because for instance, in the UK, there is no rates to pay. The rent have been frozen. And of course, not to having to entertain and maintain an open space, actually, you know, they just need the people in the kitchen at the bar, you know, just to prepare the drinks or to prepare the coffees and ship it. Did you see the same things in Brazil, or?
I would say it's different consuming habit. Yeah, people like to go to the bar and enjoy the bar, and we are much more poor than Europe. So asking for delivery food is not for everyone here. But I agree that some special place, they keep the kitchen open and they are running pretty well during the crisis. Maybe we can divide the two classes of retailers. Yeah, the ones that are flourishing, the ones that are struggling. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like, you know, also for the bars and the coffee shop environment now is even more about the service, right? Meaning that, okay, I cannot have the experience because I can meet my friends there or my people, but the service in terms of the way you deliver the food or the drink, the way the small adds on, how fast are you, then, you know, those businesses actually, they are flourishing now, and I'm pretty sure they will flourish even more later, because people get, you know, when they start to reopen, get used to that, you know. But I agree with you, you know, sometimes it's ridiculous. I'm hearing stories that you know, someone ordered a cappuccino £3 and pay £2.50 for delivery, you know. So it's like, you know, of course has to be a kind of you know, the buying power is different.
Yeah.
Right. So,
and also, if you don't mind to add something, especially for the delivering segment, Gustavo is 100% right. The last research about delivery from, I think is from Google Trends Brazil. It shows that only the most richest states are increasing the iFood delivery and Uber Eats delivery and all those apps. So, but our country is, oh, sorry about this background noise, but our country, Brazil, is too big. And this is something that for me shows my attention, at least, because we have a country that have 200+ million people, and we are not as rich as Europe. So of course, delivering is like going bootstrapping, but at the same time, we have a country that has like probably more than 50 million people that doesn't have that are struggling to I don't know, to eat at the same day because they don't have, because they lost their jobs at the COVID. So we are facing like a really difficult situation in Brazil, especially because we are not so developed country. So I mean,
I guess also
yeah, it's,
as you were mentioned, Rodrigo, is a way of a different behavior, right? So in Brazil, like it would be also in Italy, I'm sure in Spain, is more about, okay, I don't really care as much about the coffee. I just care about, you know, experience with everybody there. Maybe in the UK, in Germany, the northern country, actually, I want my coffee, the coffee that, you know, I used to drink in the coffee place X. So I want that specific wine that I used to drink on the specific place. So yeah, of course, it's a different culture type.
Guys,
Yeah.
so let's move on a little bit to another segment and let's listen to Ed. So Ed, you guys, like you mentioned, you guys have the primary business of you, it's from the travel and out of home media, right? So, I mean, no people on the streets to see the out of home media and no people at the airports or traveling. So how is it going for you guys? And what is the impact actually?
Yeah, so we're a global company, so we can see all of these different trends in terms of movement and consumer behavior in different countries of the world as they respond from initially the impact and how they embrace for it to the recovery signs we're seeing in Asia. I think it's fairly safe to say that COVID-19 has disrupted everyone's way of life, from travel postponements to large events like the Olympics, to the way that we shop and maintain relationships. But the biggest change, as you said, for us, and most impacted sector was travel and tourism. We've seen that 96% of countries around the world have instigated some form of movement restriction in order to combat the pandemic. So for us as a company, a global company, we've gone from global to hyper-local within a very short window of time, 3 months. And so from a retail perspective and helping our retail brands, one of the biggest changes has been, as this movement from east to west came about, we saw things such as the supply chains being disrupted, as a lot of manufacturing is happening in Asia, to then the point of sale, the bricks and mortar, the shop windows being closed and people having to find alternate routes to start selling their produce and products, to finally the way that we have to now engage with consumers and mirror their shift in both their movement being restricted to a localized residential point of view, to actually understanding the behaviors and the sentiments they're showing and how you can tap into them in a little bit more of an effective way. But generally speaking, retail sales globally has seen the biggest fall since records have begun over 30 years ago. And from a travel retail standpoint, we've seen that decrease forecasted at a drop of 12.4% for 2020. So that's about $9 billion US. So yeah, there's been quite a bit of disruption, but it's definitely not all doom and gloom. Like you're saying, we're seeing the companies that are able to adapt to the new normal and essentially beef up their digital infrastructure to take advantage of these changing consumer behaviors are the ones who are poised for success during the recovery.
Right. I mean, like for the bars, the travel and tourism suffers the same issue, because you cannot deliver the experience of a travel if a person cannot leave their home, right? So, but we will talk about that later, how we can provide the experience of traveling or exploring the world without leaving their homes. By using, for instance, like VR or AR as a means to support this experience. I mean, it's definitely not the same. Like, you know, if I never been to Paris, I want to see the Eiffel Tower. You know, it's not the same like being there, but I mean, you can at least entertain the person and give them the experience of exploring the world somehow using this kind of technologies. But of course, it will not be the same. And let's wait and see to see what's going to be the post-normal. What I would hear later from you, it's you guys were basically based on the out of home, and now, I mean, you guys used to collect data and process data and use this data to provide information out of home, right? So later we'll go through and I'll listen from you. What you guys are doing to make this very, very quick transformation? Because without being able to collect the data outside of the home and deliver the information outside of the home, I mean, it probably was like a earthquake for you guys to adapt to this new way of working, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I would say one of the things that is a norm right across the world is that there's more data than ever before to take advantage of. There's more location data than ever before, and technology is cheap enough and accessible enough for us to use that data and that technology to be very flexible and targeted in the way that we are able to still maintain relevant communication with different audiences around the world, as well as help our clients navigate the uncertainty of when are we going to start seeing audiences moving back to city centers, or when are we going to see them moving to new areas, and when are they finally going to start looking to do cross-border travel. So we're very fortunate in the sense that we have built up our location intelligence over the years to ensure that we are able to adapt very, very quickly and effectively to volatility in the marketplace, whether it's a financial crash, or an environmental issue like I don't know, an Icelandic eruption, and how that impacts the travel patterns that we see in the mobility as well. So yeah, we're quite fortunate in the sense that we were ready and prepared, but ultimately we've never experienced anything to this degree in terms of a complete global lockdown in many parts.
And just out of curiosity, you know, because as you said, it's all about data, it's all about consumer behavior. And of course, you know, the travel is all disrupted still at this stage. But, you know, surely you can use the data and the technology to localize areas, no? I guess, I don't know. So London, you know, so I don't know, many millions of that. And then, you know, a million, they live in W1, let's say. And then you know that in W1 certain businesses are opened because certain businesses are open, not everything's closed, and then you can actually market those business, match those business to the consumer needs, right? So it's the same.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Antonio, in the sense that for our industry, we are able to use that location data to make sense of the fact that people are spending more time in residential areas, and we have the media available to allow us to engage with them and tap into certain consumer sentiments that we're seeing being more relevant over this pandemic and lockdown. For example, we worked with a very well-known UK grocery chain to tap into consumer trends around baking more and doing more domestic work, doing more gardening, to alter and change the messaging on out-of-home sites in proximity to more residential suburban areas, so that the brand could move away from driving more profit-led messaging to more purpose-led messaging at a time where people are looking for a little bit more comfort and security. So in the disaster that is the coronavirus, there's a lot of opportunity, and there's a number of brands we're working with to try and tap into that opportunity.
Yeah, so just to give a positive note instead for the fashion world, because, you know, I am, of course, I'm positive man, but also, you know, I feel like from my experience of what I know and what I heard about everything, and also from my clients, you know, of course, fashion had a really bad time, like everybody else, the first 2-3 weeks. But then, you know, those businesses, as we were saying also yesterday, actually, those businesses that they already had infrastructure to have an omni-channel presence, which means, or just e-commerce or app. So actually they haven't suffered that much. Actually, they found themselves, apart from the first weeks, where of course it was all like a disruption for everybody. But after that, you know, people, they start to still looking for products to buy. And there was nowhere where to find the retail. So they had to go into e-commerce or app there. And to be honest, some of our clients, they're stormed by stock demand from different brands, because what's happening, of course, the brands, to salvaguard themselves, they have cut the orders. But then now, also with the weather coming, so on and so forth, then the demand is rising, and the stores, they haven't opened yet. So, you know, interesting to see. I mean, I know for sure that those people that, number one, or they already had an omni-channel presence, or as we were saying, quickly they introduce an e-commerce presence, and also speed to market in terms of products, because as we know, I mean, the most Google searched keywords in the first weeks for clothing was loungewear. So, you know, those people that will be able to actually produce fast some loungewear, then, you know, they have tapped in a new different market. Just to give a little positive about the fashion.
You know, I think you made your point really, really great there. We have some in the audience, we have some people from Canada. And last week we had a chat and they were saying that the Canadian government, one way of helping the business to go through these times is the government put in place a team that develops and creates the e-commerce for small and medium enterprises in Canada. So this is like, they knew that the large corporations, the large companies in the retail industries, they were already prepared for a situation like this, so they could make the shift from the physical brick and mortar to the e-commerce, but not the small and medium companies. And the impact in the economy, if the small and medium companies dies, is much larger than, because you know, if you sum up all the employees that works for small and medium companies, it adds much more than the large corporations. So the government is helping the small and medium stores to put together the e-commerce and start, you know, creating a new channel or developing the omni-channel for these companies that they were not even thinking of this kind of situation before. And I think you know, these companies who could make the shift, they're going very well on that, and technologies they're helping for that for sure.
Ryan, as I told you, Varejo Online is a software company for retail, Right. And one of the things we are doing is tackling this problem, because most of our clients are small business, for sure. In Brazil, we have thousands of small business, and they are not online, neither close to be online. So one of the things we are doing is to provide a solution to make the inventory online, at least, so they can sell or have a chance to survive over the crisis. So for us as a software company, is a huge opportunity, and for the customer is a way out of the crisis.
Right. Like for iFood, I mean, if it wasn't not for iFood, a lot of small restaurants, they would have died already here in São Paulo. I mean, technology is making the bridge. You know, it's incredible how technology could support them at this time. Sorry,
Rayan. I just think there is actually two kind of challenges that the small and medium companies are facing, like a really huge problem to go online, and they are like start thinking about it, and instead of planning it like for, oh, okay, I will do it in the long term, I will create my e-commerce in probably next year, they just create it in just, I don't know, a couple of days. But at the same time, we see large companies, especially retailers, that are that are struggling to create their omni-channel culture. They have their e-commerce apps and a lot of technology infrastructure, but at the same time, in my opinion at least, even Walmart and all the biggest clients in the world doesn't figure out how you equalize the culture at the company, because at the same time they don't have like I don't know, goals for brick and mortar that maybe I don't know how to explain this, but at the same time, people at the stores doesn't want to provide instant for people to buy at e-commerce, because they don't have like this omni culture. All the companies is struggling to fight this, and I think probably at this COVID period, we are speeding up this creation of omni-channel culture at all the companies in the world. So this for me is actually a really good stuff.
Yeah, Rodrigo, you're 100% right. You know, unfortunately, it was already, I mean, since years and years, it's been an omni-channel world. Yeah. So, you know, I can't remember when we started talking about it. I think I had a press conference in omni-channel 5 years ago, actually, in London. We were discussing how actually was current. So, So then, you know, all this coded, what he has done actually has put, while he was here, has put him completely high on the channel reality now. So basically that's it, that's what it is. And then you're right, 100%, there are some companies that cannot adapt because they don't know what it is, they don't get it. I say, I don't know, I mean, what does that mean? Or maybe they know what it means, but they don't feel it because they've been brick and mortar all the time. So then, you know, though even the owners, the feeling, or even the you know, the CEO, so then they can't draw it down the organization. But they won't have much left. Those companies, unfortunately, you know, are you know, big or small, you know, even without coding, I mean, they wouldn't have that much time to you know, in the business life, unfortunately. Because
I'm 100% agreed.
yeah.
Now that we're talking about this transformation already, so the next question that I would throw now, talking about COVID and retail as a general, it's the transformation. What transformation you see that is occurring, and which of these transformations that is happening right now you think that will be eventual, which means that when COVID is gone, the transformation is also going to be gone, and which transformations are going to last. For example, here in São Paulo, there are some shopping malls that what they have done to trying to adapt, they created like a kind of super drive-through with the stores. So the mall used the parking lot to create the stores. You go through there and then you buy clothes and everything you want from the shopping mall without leaving your car. I mean, I believe this is a transformation that has happened really quickly to adapt, but I think it will be gone when COVID is gone also. But in the other hand, there's some other transformations. For example, home office. Home office is a kind of culture and transformation that was already ongoing on companies, but in a very slow pace because they were conservatives. They didn't know how to work on, you know, with this new way of working. But now they didn't have the choice. They had to move to home office. And I believe that a lot of companies, this transformation will last. They will stay here after COVID is gone. So Rodrigo, you that have a lot of experience in the fashion industry with the Lojas Heaney, for instance, what kind of transformations you see that will last, and especially those based on technology?
First of all, I think I'm 100% agree with you. I totally agree with you because at Paim, we are also thinking about why do we need that space. I mean, this is like we are thinking about the meaning of space in our company, and I think probably all the companies are doing this because home office is just unbelievable and just. How can I say, is it possible to do? Usually, I think a lot of conservative people think, oh, this is probably not as productive as being at the company. But I think this is home office probably is changing and is going to change the way we understand our space in all the companies. So this for me is the first thing. The second thing for me is I heard a lot of people saying, oh, probably all the brick and mortar stores are going to close. I don't believe it. I think there is probably also being a transformation of the meaning of the stores, probably more for experiences and a lot of I don't know things that wasn't the main aspect for having a store. But I believe also the e-commerce and the online stores are increasing a lot. So people start at COVID, in my opinion at least, starts buying stuffs in e-commerce that never thought before. Simple things like supermarket stuffs, but also are trying different kind of buying habits are being created. I mean, for me, all the transformation is more related to techs that are creating experience at the stores and also creating better experience at digital channels. So, for example, one of the technologies I believe is going to change a lot of the way we consume is augmented reality, especially because we are probably going to stay more at home and maybe being able to do more home offices. and oh, I will try. Maybe I'll try some home furniture at my home, and I'm probably going to use augmented reality. So this, for me, this kind of text, especially augmented reality, that is way better as an experience compared to VR, in my opinion, because it's not so, I mean, it's easy to use, is probably going to change buying habits. I mean, I don't know what do you guys think?
Right. So, sorry, Antonio. Just to complement what Rodrigo was saying, we as Pulpo, we have created some quite some solutions for virtual, what we call the VTO, which is the virtual online try-on, where people can try on products without leaving their homes. And it goes from seeing a furniture at my home, like a couch. I would like to go to, let's say, a furniture online store and see it on my living room. But it also goes to sunglasses, it goes to makeup, it goes to a car. So, you know, you could see a whole car in your garage, and you could see it sitting there. You know, you can change the colors, you can change the wheels, you can, you know, customize the car and all these kind of things. And what we see is that this is truly a transformation that will last, because we'll see that people are using more and more this kind of solutions. So in our systems, in our web servers and all these kind of things, we see that the usage has gone very high now during the COVID times. And, you know, this is a sign that how people are picking up, and probably they will continue using this kind of technology later on. Like we were discussing, not only for the try-on, but we were discussing with the aesthetics clinic here in Brazil. They have like almost 60 stores in Brazil. And one of the issues they have is that when a woman goes to have a skin treatment, the whole journey has a lot of friction. And part of this friction right now is that the woman has to stay inside of the store to get the skin assessed. And what the technology can provide now is the woman at their home, they can open an app and see their face and scan their face in the app and see if they have wrinkles, what kind of degree the wrinkle is. They have the skin marks, the hydration of the skin and so on. They can get the treatment suggested by the technology. They can make the purchase, and they only go to the store to receive the treatment. So it reduces a lot the time of the woman inside of the store, which is great for times like this, because no one wants to be exposed to the COVID risks for too long. I mean, you know. Antonio, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, I would just say that just to follow what you said, actually, that again, you know, virtual try-on, which is makeup, which is very important for us, but also for dresses, for clothing, and for, you know, all different things, is something that was already happening and now is going to be accelerated, you know. So for two reasons. Number one, will be accelerated because people want to do it from their phone or from the computer at home, from the tablets, but also will be accelerated as well into the retail environment. I opened in Turkey already 2 years ago a virtual try-on pop-up store for one of the largest Turkish retailers, and it was already a great success there. And I think now, you know, it's going to be even more exponential for those retailers to adapt to this, because as Rodrigo was saying, it's not going to be, people wouldn't want to go anymore in a shop to look and try and buy. I mean, that's no experience as much as anymore. You know, we want to maybe to go in there and then maybe to socialize, because as we said, human being, we always want to socialize, and maybe coffee shops or maybe about the services. And while they're doing that, they shop, and they shop to augmented reality. So virtual try on glasses or makeup, and then, you know, they must have a click a button, connect to their phone, pay a checkout from the phone, sent home. You know, they don't even want to carry the bag. So, and as I said, this is something that was happening already, but the COVID-19 now is going to be definitely as a highlight in this. And in fact, if you read everywhere, I mean, there are all the retailers that actually that they started to do that. What they're doing now, they maximize it. They spend even more to finalize that project to make it happen. So we'll definitely see quite a lot of that into the high streets and on the apps, basically.
They'll last longer. So Gustavo, also we were talking about the bars, right? So one of the transformations I saw for some of the bars or beer brands, whatever, what they were doing to keep up the sales for the beer and this kind of experience, they were making lives with the famous singers and the bands in Brazil. So they would put all these people together at their homes. They would sell the beer and they would make the people socialize over the internet. So do you think this kind of transformation it's helping right now? And do you think it will last? Do you think maybe people will make this kind of happy hours online after, or definitely not?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the shows with the artists. Maybe it's not so profitable yet for the artist, but the brand itself, it got closer to the consumer, much more closer than in a bar with just signs and this kind of thing. So, and the booze consuming has increased, as everyone knows. Yeah, Ed told us that yesterday, and in England, in Brazil as well, booze is selling more and more because no one wants to be locked down with no beer. So it's a huge opportunity to the brands reach the consumer instead of just reaching the retail. Yeah. But the online happy hours, at least for me, they were pretty usual with foreign friends, and maybe now it's going to be usual for same city friends. Yeah. Okay, let's drink at home. You don't have to drive. Take a Uber. You drink your good wine, not the wine of the bar, and that's it. Yeah, maybe it's gonna last. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And actually, what I think, like, it's going to be a huge marketing opportunity for the booze brands, because what's happening, if you're thinking anyway, so it will happen, it will last. I still got my friends, I call my friends at 6 o'clock in the evening or 7 o'clock. Oh, Antonio, sorry, I can't talk. I'm on a Zoom meeting with my school friends. All right. I got somebody else, sorry, Antonio, I can't talk. I am at a meeting with some colleague. All right. So, and it will happen because people, it's more comfortable to catch up and stay at home rather than travel. But it's a good opportunity also for the booze brands, because if you're thinking about it, how many parties like whiskey brands or beer brands they organize, right? So they basically sponsor with the booze the parties, right? So they could find a way, I'm sure, to sponsor with the booze the Zoom parties, because at the end of the day, instead of delivering, there's a question of delivering to different addresses. So definitely, yeah, I do agree. It will keep.
Right. Gustavo, also, what do you think that how do you think that technology can support the retake of the business when things starts to reopen? For instance, yesterday we were talking about how people might be scared or afraid of going to a bar or a restaurant that is too crowded, and maybe using technology. Like already we had some technology in the past, some apps that you could check the length of the line to get into the bar or the restaurant. So do you think that technology can support to get away with this fear of people of going to too crowded places? Let's say, I don't know, maybe you're streaming live the size of the queue, or how many you are streaming, how many tables are occupied in the restaurant, and showing that, guys, you can come, it's not too full, it's not too crowded, or some other initiatives. Do you think technology can support in that way?
Yeah, I think we have two different ways. The first one is this one that Rodrigo told us yesterday about the queue size or the amount of people inside. That's a little bit ambiguous for me, because there are certain kind of people that want to go to a full bar and there's people that want to go to an empty bar. But we have an assumption at one of the bar companies, the company that holds bar assets, is in the future, maybe you want to go to a bar with no waiter, you don't touch anything to get your beer, it's just an app, you go to the tap, it opens touchless, you fill your own mug, and you go away and touch anything, and it's going to be more clean. I'm not sure it's going to last after the COVID but for sure is a technology problem that can easily be solved. Yeah, so this is one of the things we might risk to put some money on. Yeah, touchless.
So
everything.
yeah, you said that word, so touchless. So one of the protocols that we see from governments that are reopening the business is they tell the companies or the retailers to avoid touch on operations or points during the journey. So to remove the friction where you have touch. So touchless might be one of the things to last longer, right?
And for everything, not for beer, yeah, food or airport
Clothing
or clothing or yeah, everything.
And Ed, how do you see technology supporting Ed these new times, and maybe the travel, like we spoke about the travel, how AR can help people to travel from leaving their homes, or maybe going to a museum, or I used AR last week to see some animals. So I opened up the camera at my home and I could see like a turtle swimming in front of me, and it was so real. The quality and the resolution of the image was perfect. I mean, it's better than have the turtle in a aquarium, going like.
Yeah, I think the technology's come a long way. I mean, last week I went to the Louvre in Paris. I mean, not physically, I virtually went to the Louvre in Paris, made possible through virtual reality. And that ability to be able to experience without going is incredible, and it's moved leaps and bounds over the last few years. However, it's still not a replacement for actually standing in the Louvre and seeing the paintings up close, or seeing that turtle at an aquarium. There's still a long way to go. However, like Antonio says, the digitalization of the consumer journey is something that is 100% going to be an integral part of the future landscape. I don't know what the new norm is going to look like, but I do definitely think that the adoption of digital technologies that's been forced upon businesses in a very short amount of time is going to transform what the new normal looks like. We've seen how Slack and Microsoft Teams and Zoom stock value has just surged as people have been working from home more. And we had a CEO from WPP say that essentially 10 years of innovation have been crammed into 4 weeks. I don't think that we're going to completely alter our lifestyle post-COVID. We are humans, and we crave human connection. And there is a reason that we are creatures of habits and do similar things. It's because we enjoy doing them. But I think the one thing that has been proven is that these digital technologies as a bridge to create a degree of normalcy in everyday life has worked really well. And that will continue to be the case post-COVID. So I think it's, like we've used the word omnichannel quite a lot, it's how brands are able to use more digitalized experiences in a way that is benefiting both the consumer and also the business in a way that blurs offline and online. But airports, I mean, there's a lot of concern around health and safety. And we got some research yesterday from a company called Mindset that said 70% of shoppers say they want more prevalent use of VR and AR technology within things such as makeup and virtual mirrors, to product testing and virtual dressing rooms. So I would say that 100% this pandemic has sped up the adoption of digital technologies, and it will become an integral part of the consumer journey. But physical experiences, they're not going anywhere. That's still going to be there for the future.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's definitely going to be a more experience, but in terms of shopping, touching, the AR is what is going to be, and more. I mean, above all, like we have this amazing lipstick, for instance, so why the women should touch and try what everybody else try when they can try virtually or at home or even in the shops through a virtual mirror, basically, they can choose and things like that. So is definitely.
Yeah, so now that you mentioned, Antonio, even for in-store, we have, like this smart mirror. So one of the issues that we have made a survey in London, for instance, is that women, they don't like to try on lipsticks that other women has tried, like in the physical sample. And also, if they want to try different colors, they have to put one, remove, put another, remove. You know, this is not a nice experience. And what we can do now with the smart mirror using AR in loco, in the store, is we can show her with a different combination of colors. So it's the physical and virtual at the same time. So it's all mixed up together.
And Rayan, just to add something, I believe also companies are understanding the power of technology, and they are also investing more in them. So we are probably going to see this speed up, because probably going to see more money in this kind of markets, in this kind of AR companies, in this kind of technology, digital experience companies. I could talk to a guy who's an expert in chatbots, and he was saying to me that chatbots are also increasing a lot, because it also helps companies to face this bootstrapping in their e-commerce sucks. So I don't know. I think as we see more capital in this kind of companies, we're probably going to also see these experiences getting as better as never before.
There's going to be a fast acceleration of this. You know, it was happening kind of the background of, you know, now boom, it's going to be, as you said, you know, investor will invest in more company like that in technology. The retailers, the brands will have to invest, otherwise they're out of business. You know, and will be more and more, you know, a boost to that, and quickly will be a normal reality, really. All of us.
Guys, we have 10 minutes left for the webinar. I would like to just have from you guys a wrap up, and what is your thoughts about what companies should do now in the future, and what will be the future of the retail after the COVID? And I would like to talk to you first. So what is your recommendation? What strategy you think companies or the retailers, they should apply after COVID?
It's the $1 million question. I think the key thing is that it's not a one size fits all. So each market's response to the pandemic is shaping their future recovery. So I think there are some key themes that come out of everything. Digital adoption becoming a more integral part of the consumer journey. When we talk about AR, I think we're going to move away from more novel one-off campaign activations to more sustained experiences that have a benefit both for the consumer and the business. We've spoken about makeup. You look at Sephora, the French cosmetics brands, and how they've been able to use augmented reality to help consumers try on lipstick and actually, as you said, go straight through to the purchase without even having to step into a store. So I think the ability to use that technology in a way that is adding experience rather than actually just shoehorning in technology because it's shiny and nice as a one-off is going to be something we're going to see more of. But as usual, it's always the same sort of themes. It's better use of data to understand how audiences' behaviors are shifting and how their movement is shifting. Better use of technology to engage with them. And essentially, ultimately, better creative, using all of that data and technology as a springboard to do what we do best, which is engage with people in more relevant, creative ways that is ultimately going to have business success.
So basically, like using technology as a way and not as a end. Like, because
Absolutely.
what we see sometimes is that companies, they want to make technology because it's nice, it looks cool. But it's not the end. It's
exactly
only the way to do something else, right? To deliver an experience. It's just a tool.
100%. We always have people getting tied up with data and technology. And a lot of the times people start with the answer being technology and then going, well, what's the question? It needs to be very much, how do we actually start with understanding the human behaviors, the human habits, and then build out an integrated marketing communication plan that is going to add a benefit to the consumer and ultimately build brand loyalty that way.
Thanks, Ed. So Rodrigo, to close down, what do you recommend? What do you suggest? What do you see for the future?
First of all, I completely agree with Ed, and I just disagree with one thing. I think it's $1 billion question. So it's not, that's $1 million question. I also
depends what currency we're using.
Yeah. So I believe companies have to try to understand this new normal, and also as fast as they can, and also change this mindset to also believe in digital channels, also believe in omni-channel experience, also believe in all this kind of technology that are emerging. Because if they only believe in it, I think they are probably going to bankrupt. They that's not going to work. As Ed said, uh, uh, people are not going to change from 0 to 1. People are just evolving. So that's why I believe companies will have to understand a lot of this, how this new normal is going to work, and how this is not the new human, but this human 2.0 probably is going to be, right. So I also believe experience is the main thing that is have to evolve, especially digital experience, because people now, especially in Brazil and probably developed countries, they are understanding the power of digital consumer habits, digital consuming, and they are understanding that you can buy in e-commerces, and also small and medium companies are seeing that this is a nice opportunity for them. So answering probably one of the questions that I don't know we have received, I also believe technologies as contactless payments and a lot of technologies that make the consumer life easy is probably going to speed up. Like if we see China, for example, they are I don't know, years ahead of all the global world, all the rest of the world actually, with their facing recognizing stuffs and facing payment, so facing ID payment. So I don't know, I don't believe in just one thing. I believe in experience. I believe in understanding this new world, and invest in probably this world, because companies that survive this context will probably gonna be way more better and way more I don't know, technology, digital, etc. In this new year.
Thanks, Rodrigo. Gustavo, we have a question here from one of our attendees. He would like to know your opinion or our opinion about the payment technologies in retail. Do you think that biometric payment will pick up, like payment with the face?
Yeah, if it's associated with your cell phone, that's your digital wallet and your ID and everything. So yeah, I think Apple has already, Samsung has already. You just touchless your phone, and the phone do the recognition part. And I think just to wrap up and link to the question, we are all human beings. We like to be with each other and be around with people. So, and we like to have our privacy. So my cell phone can recognize myself, but not a camera in any store. Yeah, you feel more comfortable. We are still old people, yeah. Just
yeah, one thing I would add one thing to that is that it looks really cool to, maybe you are in a shopping mall, the camera recognizes you and already charges you, but it's very risky because, you know, you only have one face. If someone is steal your biometric data, you cannot change your face. You know, it's stolen. You know, they got it. They got it.
Not your face, yeah. So you feel more comfortable on the phone, yeah.
Exactly. So if it's your phone, okay, but if it's some camera collecting your biometric data to charge you payments, for instance, if this kind of data leaks, it's leaked. For instance, for your fingers is the same. You know, your password you can change many times. Your fingerprint, if it leaks, you only have 10, right?
Yeah.
So
that's why I think Ryan, I think what the future is which is already existing. I'm thinking my thought is, because as everybody is mentioning, is the phone, right? So that you go in the store, but somehow the checkout is going through a QR code or through a code, goes to your phone, and then there you pay there on your phone, right? So the technologies already exist. Adidas did it 5 years ago, I think, in some of the stores. So that, I think, as we say, is more more real in terms of retail, because everybody will trust the phone. So as again, a checkout, a basket, right to your phone and check out from there.
Okay, guys, our guest speakers, thank you very much. For the audience, we still have some minutes left. If you guys would like to make questions for our guest speakers, you can write in the Q&A panel that you see on your screen. Feel free to make questions or send to the chat. Also, we will send you emails with the contact or the email of all the guest speakers. If you have questions further on, then you can contact us. We'll be really happy to respond as quickly as possible. And again, I have no words to thank you everyone for participating. Thank you guys. I know time is very precious. So I am really happy when people gives me their time, because I think time for me is the one thing that we don't have unlimited. So if someone gives me money or present, okay, they can make more, but time for me is the most precious. So thank you a lot for your time. Thank you a lot for being here and putting all this webinar together. It was really great.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So everyone, if you have further questions, we'll be glad to respond. And thank you a lot. And I wish you a great day for everyone. Cheers, guys. So we're closing up. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.